Hello, everybody again. Sorry for the late start this week. I had to get my vaccine. I still have my little Band-Aid on right there. There it
There it
is.
is.
There it
There's the
is.
proof.
I've been trying to lock this appointment in for like weeks, and
Really?
yeah, man. Finally, today, I do like my daily 8 or 9 a.m. Just check on. In California, we have a website called myturn.ca,
Yeah.
uh, and it's always been like I'll get so
Booked
far in
up.
it, and then it'll be like, oh, there's no appointments near you. And so
Damn.
today it was like, oh, there's appointments, and it's at this place. It's like half an hour away from where I live in like downtown San Diego, and
Oh, okay. They
and
got you
and
in.
yeah,
Day
they were
of.
like, but it was at like 11:15, so I had to be like, yo, we cannot start this at noon. I will
Yeah.
100% be late. So sorry, viewers, for those of you who are
Yes.
expecting us at noon. We are here 12:35 ish,
You made it.
doing the thing, and I am
Oh, yeah.
here with special guest Dan DeFonce,
Hello.
of Continental Touring,
Yup.
uh, Devastation on the Nation, Bloodletting, all kinds of stuff. So you are Dan is a booking agent, and for those of you who
Yes.
don't know what that means, Dan, why don't you give us a little bit of insight on what exactly a booking agent does?
Essentially, I represent bands, mostly metal bands, and I am their agent for a territory, which for me is North America. And I help get them on tours, book them shows, contract their shows, hold their hands sometimes, tell them they're doing a good job, and tell them how I like their music.
Yeah. You guys are great.
Usually
Man.
I'm
You
a
guys are great.
fan.
I said booking agent, not manager. God.
Hey, we still got to do it sometimes. Go to the show that you guys killed it. Go a pat on the back. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, I mean, we arrange. We're that person that helps them get on tours or
Yeah.
book their shows. Submit them for bigger tours or festivals and do all that crap.
Hell yeah.
So essentially, yeah, that's what a booking agent
So
pretty much does.
as you mentioned, there's a little bit of a relationship between with the band, and obviously agents talk to promoters and stuff like that. Can you explain a little bit how that symbiosis works for people who might not know how the not necessarily the chain of command, I shouldn't say, but how like the process
how
goes,
process
the
goes?
top down kind of
Yeah.
like.
I mean, pretty much like, I hit up the promoters or the venue. It depends on the market, but it's mostly always like an outside promoter for the venue. And I, hit them up to book the band or the package that they're on and, tell them what the tour, lineup is, give them some info on all the bands, the dates that we're looking for. And then hopefully, they have the date available. And then we get into the discussion of, typically the promoter's like, how much do you want?
Yeah.
And then we have, I have an idea, I've confirmed all the bands most of the time, at an X amount of money. Some bands can be like, yeah, we'll take this or that, whatever. It depends. It always different with every band. And then we discuss the offer and we try to come to a price, I guess, and nail out all the details, ticket prices, door times, set times, and how many locals can be on the show, and just work that out. And I do that with every single promoter, gather up all the deals, and then take them to the band and be like, this is what everything looks like. And then we start going down the list and confirming all of it, as we
Nice.
see. So sometimes bands are like, yeah, just get us this. And so it's different. Like some bands want to see everything before confirming, or some bands are just like, just get it done.
Yeah. For sure.
But it depends. Every band's different.
Oh yeah.
But it's mostly the chain of command with that.
Yeah. So that was very succinct. That was better than I could have said it, for sure.
Yeah.
'Cause-
I was like, how do I explain this?
yeah, right. So I've done a little bit of tour managing over, right before shows ended. I was basically doing all the tour managing for Allegiant once we started doing like headlining stuff.
Oh, okay. Cool. I didn't know.
So it's like, I get to talk to promoters and talk directly to booking agents who, Allegiant also works with Continental, different agent but same company.
Yep. My boss.
Yeah, good old Steph.
Stefan.
Yeah. And so it's it's like I have, my fair share of insight on how it all works, but even with that knowledge intact, every time someone's like, so what exactly does booking agent do? I'm like, well, they fucking book shows, man. I don't know. Like, it's like, it's never like a, succinct top down, like this is how it works.
Yeah.
It's good. It's good to hear all that kind of stuff. Cause it's every band has like a holy trinity, right? Is they have their record label, their manager, and their booking agent.
Yes.
And that's usually the team that like makes the wheels go around for the band while they're doing their whole making music type of stuff. And all three of those things generally work within each other in one way or another. It's like a Venn diagram of like operations and who does what and how everything kind of comes into play. So so Dan's job is very important for those of you watching.
It's pretty important.
That don't know. It's pretty important. Keep the metal wheels going around. So Dan
keeps it rolling.
Does a lot of like extreme metal, deathcore type of stuff.
It's like it's all over the place.
Yeah,
it's like if you name a subgenre of metal, I probably have a band.
Yeah, exactly.
That is that subgenre.
Exactly.
Of metal.
I've already got some good questions coming in from fans. I'll get to those in just a second though, or from viewers, I should say, because I have a question I want to ask that I think is more important. So,
what is it?
Everyone is obviously excited to get back to doing shows and touring and all that kind of stuff, and you can probably speak to this more than any guest we've had so far because it's always comes up, right? So it's like, you excited to get back to shows? When's do you have anything on the books? What's going on? When do you think shows are coming back as far as all that kind of stuff? I know you run a couple like tours that have been around for a while, and obviously you're in it with the whole, booking shows and contingency tours and all that kind of stuff that have been going on the past year or so, I should say.
Yeah.
But when do you think realistically that we'll have full swing shows back in action?
I think it looks promising that like August will happen. Like there is some stuff before that. Like Carnifex announced the tour in July.
Right.
Not a long one. It's 2 weeks, to and from a festival. I believe everything will happen and whatnot. But there's also that, thing in the back of my head, like, something else could happen. Something else could fuck this up, So I'm not I can't sit here and say these tours are not going to happen. I feel like I have a good feeling that they will happen. Like Carnifex, the Between the Bear to Me tour, Ginger Suicide Silence that's been announced. And, I'm booking some stuff in October and November. Nothing big, more like, 100, 200 cap stuff. And it all looks promising. I think as long as the vaccine, we don't run on some shortage of the vaccine or anything like that, and everyone goes and gets it, and I think we'll be in the clear. It's crazy to, thinking of like 1,000 cap room tour happening. It's kind of, I'm kind of hesitant on it. There is one that's supposed to happen in September, October. Obviously I can't say what the hell it is, but they're waiting until May, to announce it. So they're giving it some time before they pull the trigger on announcing it, which I think is smart. I would do the same thing. So I'm hoping, by, August we'll be all right, or even before that, July. So, but there's always that thing in the back of my head, like something else could get thrown in the way. We don't know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hopefully not. But
no, it's true, man. It's all on a razor's edge right now to be
it
certain.
Is.
So it's like, even a Legion, as you viewers may know, I often bring things back to my personal experience in the industry. But even with a Legion, right? It's like we have this tour overseas that's been announced with Archspire and Rivers and Isle and all that kind of stuff.
Faces of Death tour.
Yes. Rising merch. But it's I'm confident that it's still going to happen. You know what I mean? I have no doubts that it's going to still be a thing because it's still pretty far out. But it's like, a couple weeks ago, right? Like Germany and France and Italy all closed down again. And it's like shit like that happens. And I feel like my heart skip a beat because I'm just like, oh my God, like not again. So.
Well, that's what I keep, with Europe and stuff. I hear that, Germany and stuff is behind on the vaccine. And it's like, that scares me, and obviously it's scaring other bands. And I've had bands tell me that they're like Euro tours for later in the year are just going to get pushed to 2022. Then I have bands tell me that their tours are still going through, that they're still planning to happen.
Yeah.
But I don't even know. Like that's the thing. It's just so much uncertainty still in certain areas.
Yeah, absolutely.
It sucks because like for you guys, like you can't really pull the trigger and buy these plane tickets.
Yeah.
Unless you get insurance on them.
Yeah, you gotta wait. And I feel like most airlines are being kind of accommodating with stuff like that at this point.
They have to be.
Yeah, absolutely. But for those of you who don't know, he mentioned Germany, and that's I feel like an important thing to clarify is that if you're watching this from the U.S. And have never been to a show overseas or toured over there or anything like that, Germany is super important when touring overseas because it's like
big time.
Usually like always like between 5 and 10 shows in Germany if you're doing a European tour. You're basically just going in and out of Germany the whole time from one direction or another because it's like the central, it's like the hub for all metal out there. So if Germany isn't good to go, it kind of doesn't matter if the rest of Europe is good to go because not being able to go to Germany is a huge issue when scheduling tours overseas. So
yes, it is.
So I have let me get to these questions because they're starting to stack up here. So Lyle Julian asks, favorite band you've booked?
Favorite band?
Do a quick one.
I know Lyle. Oh man, favorite band I booked? Dark Funeral.
Nice. That's a good one. That's a good one.
That's a big thing for me.
So Eric Quinty asks, I keep hearing about the term radius clause when it comes to booking artists. Could you briefly explain what that term means and what those bands can do to up their sales?
All right. Well, with the radius clause, it's in pretty much every single band's tour offer they get. Mm-hmm. It's always most of the time like it can be like 120 mile 60 days before, 60 days after, or 90 days.
Yeah.
Where the band cannot play within 120 miles of the markets on the tour that they're confirming for.
Right.
So, which can suck sometimes when you're trying to plan stuff, especially like I have like 3 bands on a January, February tour. Mm-hmm. So that kind of like takes those 3 bands out of like any other tours up until like April or May, Mm-hmm. So that's a radius clause on bands. Not sure on the up the sales part though.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But
that's a tough one. That's a tough one.
Yeah. But that's a radius clause.
So
annoying.
Ben Stanford wants to know what step or process of getting bands booked for a tour is the most difficult?
Agreeing on money.
Yeah. Everybody's ready to go until it's like, you guys are getting paid.
It depends. Some bands are, they're reasonable. Some bands are like asking too much and you're like, I don't think it's gonna,
Yeah.
So it can be difficult sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's probably like the most difficult part. Putting together like a route and shit, that's easy. But no, everyone agrees on it. Everyone's like, oh yeah, just switch this, and that, and you're done. But
totally.
Money part.
So I have people from bands asking questions, but let me one more before I get to theirs. So Mike Neely says he has sort of a double question. One, who did you learn the inside knowledge of how this side of the industry works? And 2, where could you recommend up-and-coming aspiring individuals to go learn about these things? I'm actually going to ask you to hold off on answering that one because those are both questions that I have for later.
Okay.
So
we'll get to those.
Basically, how'd you get started and what can you recommend for up-and-comers? So getting to the band folks, Harry from Tier, great band.
Tier.
Yeah. Says, hello, gentlemen. One question we get repeatedly is, why don't you play in my city? I as a band member, struggle to give helpful answers. I have asked many bookers, and I'd like to hear your views. What can a fan do to make a specific band come to their city? Can I take a stab at this before you do?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so So oftentimes it depends on the promoter, in my experience. Like
Oh yeah, it's always.
certain areas do not have reliable promoters, and like that's a huge thing. Is that it's like if you try to book someone in an area that has notoriously shady promoters, all of a sudden it's like the band is in a strangers in a strange land, and they're out all the money that they were supposed to make from this show, and sometimes transportation. It can be a huge issue. So it's basically just like securing good promoters in that area, uh,
Yeah,
and that's pretty much it. And I guess
yeah,
the thing that you can do as a fan to get people to come into your city is, I don't know, man, start promoting shows. Like,
yeah. Because
there's
sometimes even like venue owners, like
yeah,
they get sometimes they're older and they don't get it and they don't know who this band is, and that's where like promoters come in handy because most of the time promoters, especially the good ones, they know about everything and they're in, they stay up to date with what's, what bands are doing good and stay familiar with younger bands and newer, but with that, it's, yeah, I mean, what Riley said, but also like sometimes it doesn't make sense with the route,
hmm
and or sometimes the offer in your market might just suck. And to where like, we're like, do we go do this door deal?
yeah,
And we don't know how much, and the bands are not feeling confident on what they draw on that market. So a lot of times when it's that scenario, then it's just like, no, we're skipping that.
yeah, totally.
you know
That definitely.
it sucks, but
I mean, it does suck for the people in that market, but it's the kind of thing where it's like a band will oftentimes breathe a sigh of relief. For those of you who don't know, a door deal versus getting just paid is where it's basically where the promoter doesn't feel comfortable based off of like the pre-sale ticket amounts to sell, like to give the band a flat amount. And so they're like,
yeah.
here, how about this? To make sure I don't lose my ass as the promoter, we'll give the band X% off of, ticket sales and all that kind of stuff, which
hmm
usually does not add up to what the band would normally make on like a flat guarantee deal. So
yeah,
oftentimes door deals are not worth doing, especially if you have all the overhead expenses of traveling and touring and doing all that kind of stuff.
yeah. It
Um,
depends on the band. Some bands are like all right with it,
yeah,
but it
yeah,
just depends.
absolutely, absolutely. So Joel Horner, my man Joel Horner,
Hey,
uh,
Joel.
Mr. Decrepit Birth over here. So
Oh damn.
Joel wants to know, do you think that shows will have a capped capacities for a while?
I think it's going to depend on what market, like what city you're in.
Yeah,
I think we
absolutely.
may deal with that in New York City. I think we may deal with that in LA, like the bigger ones,
hmm
or we may not. We're not going to deal with that in Texas. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's for sure.
I live here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you right now, it's not going to happen. But yeah, there might be some spots we might run into that issue.
Well, there's a big festival happening soon in
All right.
like Memphis, right, or somewhere in Tennessee. It's like a 3-day thing with like a bunch of metalcore bands.
Oh, why do I feel like I know what you're talking about?
I
And I can't
God,
pinpoint the fucking name.
it's got like a bunch of I think like Killswitch might be on there, and like it's got
Is it?
like Parkway Drive or August Burns Red or something. Like it's some big.
Let me look it
Let me,
up. Because
yeah,
there
let
is
me, let me do
the
some research.
Carnifex Fest. The fest at Carnifex is playing in
Might be that same
July.
one.
That's in Wisconsin.
Okay.
I think Killswitch is on that. Oh wait, no. You're talking Furnace Fest. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's at Birmingham, Alabama.
Oh, that's what it is. That's what it is.
Yes. So that's in September, late September,
Okay.
which is probably my favorite lineup on a fest ever.
Yeah, it's pretty sick, man. It looks real
It's all
good.
bands I grew up on. So it's like, whoa, going back in time. I've been asked that question like, Dan, do you think this is going to happen? Because I book Zayo. I work with Zayo. I work with
Mhm.
Evergreen Terrace.
God,
So,
I fucking love
Zayo is
Evergreen
like,
Terrace.
yeah, dude. And that, Evergreen hasn't expressed anything to me, but Zayo, they're like, think it's going to happen? I'm like, I think so. I think it'll be fine. I mean,
Yeah.
it's Alabama. But they're like, I mean, unless something, like I said before earlier on in this stream, like unless something gets in the way, I think
Right.
it's just it'll happen at full capacity.
Absolutely.
Um,
Okay, so
yeah.
I have one more question before we get back to the regularly scheduled programming. So, uh, Victory Surmova of Surma, also a great band. Um, what is the most awkward experience you've had with a band? These are always tough questions because it's like you don't want to throw anybody under the bus, right? So you don't have to use names.
Yeah. I'm just trying
or
to
answer
think.
it all. That's totally up to you. But
Yeah,
if
I
you
don't think
have
I've
one that
had
comes to
an
mind.
awkward. Man, I probably have had an awkward situation for sure earlier on in my career as a booking agent because I just hit 15 years of being an agent. But I don't know. Nothing like comes to mind right now. It's like a hard one. It's like when you ask, like when I ask, like, when I do my podcast and I ask, like, people will ask questions like, what's like the most awkward fan experience you've had? They're usually like, there's a lot.
Yeah.
Just pinpoint one. I don't know. I don't remember. It's just like normal.
Yeah, totally. So
I didn't have one come to mind.
it's okay. Keep it on the back burner. Maybe something will come up later. So
maybe come up.
So as we mentioned before we started answering fan stuff, so you not only book shows and do all that kind of stuff, but you also like run a couple tours. One of which is Devastation on the Nation. Give us a little bit of background on that.
So that tour, I did a tour back in 2010 or something, 2011 maybe, with King Conquer, Last 10 Seconds of Life, and a few other bands. And me and Chris from King Conquer, the drummer, we're trying to come up with a tour name. It was the thing back. Like nowadays, like no one really cares about a tour name. But back then it was like the thing. You got to come up with a fucking tour name, and we came up with that. And so years went by, and I remember like 2014, I was like, I'm a big fan of Summer Slaughter. I love it, and I want like my own thing, And so I was like, what? I'm so bad at coming up with names. And I saw that flyer again, the tour flyer. And I was like, well, that name's pretty cool. Yeah, I'll use that. Yeah. So then 2015, I put together Devastation on the Nation tour, which was Origin, Crisian, Aeon, Alter Beast, Surreption, and Ingested's first US tour.
Such a banging lineup.
Dude, it is. I feel like we did that now, it'd even crush even more.
Oh, yeah.
Dude. But so I did it, and it came back to life. And 2016 didn't happen. It was supposed to be Revocation and aborted. And Boarded had to pull out, and the whole tour just fell apart. Yeah. Before we announced, thankfully. And then, and then it came back 2017, aborted, Decrepit Birth, and then went to what else? I did not aborted and Decrepit Birth. It went to Cryptopsy, Decrepit Birth. Then the year after was aborted and Psychroptic, and then Dark Funeral and Belphegor, and now we're going into next year. It's gonna be Rotting Christ and Borknagar again. Well, rescheduled. Again for the second time. It's grown over the years. Like the biggest year we had was Dark Funeral and Belphegor, which I'm looking at the poster on my wall, 2019, and it crushed. 6 sold out shows. Other shows did 400 or 500 plus. And it was incredible, honestly. I didn't really know what to expect. Yeah. And then it's my baby. So now rescheduling Rotting Christ, Borknagar one, which was supposed to be last year, and it was supposed to be this year. And now it's next year. So we're bringing it back April, May.
Hell yeah. That's fucking rad.
It's exciting. Yeah. I'm almost done rebooking it.
I've always loved Devastation lineups because they're like this. It's like a perfect blend always, right? It's like lots of super heavy, kind of more underground stuff, but also like household death metal names. So I
try to make it like something special, like have like a special type of bands on it. Like with Rotting Christ, like they haven't been here in years, and they're a very special band. But also Borknagar was a big one they got because they haven't been here. Well, they came for like Maryland Death Fest, I think 2017.
Right.
But they haven't toured the States since Emperor in 1999.
Wow.
Yeah. So to get them on it and then also reconfirm them again, to be able to do it, the reschedule one for next year, it was a big deal. So, and the whole idea behind the tour was trying to get it on the scale of like Summer Slaughter, as in like the scale of like how many bands are on the tour. Yeah. And, we got up to 7 bands with the year we had aborted. And then I remember Bryce, who works with me with the tour, was like, yo, can we not do 7 bands again? So Dark Funeral, Belphegor, we did 6. Yeah. And he's like, okay, this is easier. And then when Rotting Christ came around, I'm like, I think I just want to make it 5.
Yeah. Yeah. 5
And
is
he's like, yes, do that.
5 is kind of the sweet spot in my experience. It's
Yeah,
like when you
I
have
think
5
so.
bands, it's like the show's not too long.
Mhm.
It's logistically less of a nightmare.
Oh yeah, big time. Less fucking gear on
Yeah.
stage and shit
Yeah.
and transportation. Yeah, so
Yeah. Yeah. And
5
it's
bands.
it's a magic number for sure.
Oh
So,
yeah.
uh, so you mentioned your podcast really quick that you
Mhm.
started last year. Tell us a little bit about that. I can
You
speak to
do.
its awesomeness because I was actually a guest on that
Yeah,
podcast
we had a
not so
blast
long
on it.
ago. Yeah.
Yeah, man. So I've been doing it pretty much. It's been streamed on Twitch. Obviously with shows going away, I had this idea of doing like a live podcast
Mhm.
because we don't have live shows. So I wanted to make it a little special. And obviously some people are like always hesitant about signing up for Twitch or going to it, which you all should sign up for Twitch. It's cool.
Absolutely
But
should.
yeah, it's a great platform. And I didn't have time to explore it until I had no work to do.
Yeah.
And then I was
Yeah.
like, what do? I don't know what to do anymore because I have no emails and calls anymore right now. So I learned Twitch and how to stream and everything, and decided to do the podcast, which actually I'm going to start getting it on all other platforms like Spotify and stuff. It is on YouTube. Let me start over here because I'm going all over the place. So it's a live podcast. It's streamed live at a certain day and time. I try to work, on the guest schedule when they're available, but mostly every Tuesday and Thursday. And it's like an hour and a half, 2 hour long stream on Twitch. And it looks cool. It looks like we're in like a living room and there's posters and shit. So it's a cool little layout that I have done for it. And it's been going great. It's grown a lot. And then a few days after it's streamed, I upload the video to my YouTube channel.
Right.
So then everyone can watch it afterwards. So now I'm getting into the process of ripping all the audio from the videos and now getting it on all other platforms.
Nice.
Yeah. I was like, yeah, I should just do this.
Yeah, get that RSS,
man.
that ad space money.
Exactly. Let's see what happens. Maybe it'll pull more people over to come watch the streams live.
Yeah, exactly.
It's fun.
It's all.
And then,
oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, and then everyone, that if you come to the stream, you're able to ask questions in the chat. Luckily, we haven't had anyone ask anything inappropriate yet. But it's cool. It's cool. Met a lot of cool people because of it and got to learn more about all the guests. Like a lot of the guests have been people I've worked with in bands. And then kind of, I met, I've never talked to, like, I had Trevor from the Black Dollar Murder.
Mm-hmm.
Me and him have never talked before, but we follow each other on social media.
Right.
And, I did that with him and that was a ton of fun. And I learned more about him, learn about you, just outside of like, it's mostly just like learning about my guests, like where they grew up, how they grew up, how they got into metal, how they got into playing the instrument they play or vocals or whatever. And just learning about everything about the person and the band that they're in.
Yeah. Which is awesome because
cool.
It's like, those are my favorite types of episodes of stuff like that, or at least especially the ones that we do, because obviously Metal Blade Live series, very, very similar tit that we're both on.
Yeah.
Live streaming interviews and stuff. And my favorite ones are always geared toward like personal backgrounds and industry experience. That shit's always just super interesting to me. I love being able to learn from stuff like that. Like we did one with Devin Townsend a few weeks back, and despite all the technical issues that we had, because my internet decided to just be like, "Oh, you're interviewing
the shit out.
You're interviewing Devin Townsend. We'll give you half a meg of upload speed." It's such a nightmare.
Fuck this all up for you today.
Despite all that, I feel like I learned a lot from that interview, and I feel like the interviews that I learned from are always like super cool because it's like I get to walk away from the experience of not only meeting someone cool and someone else in the industry, but walk away from it with like knowledge that I didn't have half an hour prior.
For sure.
So it's always super cool. So that's rad. Definitely check out Dan's.
Go to my Twitch. It's just DeFonce.
Yeah, all of his socials listed.
And
right
I do
here,
like a
right
music
down below.
and I do a music stream every week, like mostly every Saturday, where I'm, if you're in a band, stop by, show me your band's music. hang out. You know, I'm always checking out new music that's come out recently, bands music too.
Hell yeah.
If you want my opinion on it, I'll give it to you.
And actually, I might have to swing by one of those and
Yeah, I'll have you on as a guest.
show you something I'm working on right now. Be
Dude,
one of
that'd be
those.
sick. Well, I've been thinking about, like, I think on Saturday, I'm pretty sure Dickie Allen's going to be a guest with
Oh
me.
hell yeah.
Yeah, so we're gonna like probably post about it like tomorrow about bands like stopping by with their music, and we'll both be on there hanging out, checking out
Dude,
music. So I think
that's
that'd be
super
cool
sick.
to get you on to do
Yeah, man.
sometime.
I'd be
It's
way
fun.
down. My
It's like 2-3 hours, just kick back, listen to some shit, chat with
yeah.
everyone.
My musical taste is pretty broad.
Yeah.
When it comes to all that kind of stuff. So I
Yeah,
love
think
I
mine
love hanging out, listening to bands of all different shapes and
Dude,
sizes.
I have found some really good bands, and
Yeah.
like it's crazy. There's so many, so it's
Yeah.
like, and then I'm like, where have you guys been? Oh, we've been a band for 10 years. How have I not heard your band? You know, I found this one band. I can't think of the name off the top of my head. Fuck, I can't remember it, but I know I'll be able to find it. But they reminded me of Gojira, and I'm like,
Oh,
man,
sick.
and they've been around for like 20 years. I'm like, how? Where have you
What?
been?
That's amazing.
Why have you not emailed me?
Yeah, right, right. Well, so speaking
Yeah.
of being, you know, not only listening to music but playing music and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, do you feel that obviously you're well integrated into the metal scene?
Yeah.
You know, from a business side of things, from musician side of things, from, you know, just like a homie side of things.
Yeah.
Do you feel that being part of the community, the metal scene and the metal community, is important rather than just purely being like a business guy? Because, you know, a lot of times I feel like booking agents, managers, you know, record labels can sometimes get a little bit of a bad,
Like a bad,
you know, a bad image, I guess I should say, from people who are on the band side of things, on the performing side of things. So do you feel that having that you know, involvement in the community is important rather than just being like, you know, I'm just a booking agent?
I think so, because it gives me more knowledge, and it just makes me more, you know, a lot of the bands that I book, you know, were like actual friends.
Yeah.
And like we were like really on the same page about everything, and they know I know what I'm talking about when it comes to anything, you know, in the metal world, because I stay up to date. You know, I'm always going to shows, and just I think it's very you got to be involved with it. Like, honestly, at the end of the day, it's more than just business, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You know, you gotta, and it's more than business at the end of the day. And being involved in the metal community, to me, is just fucking awesome, honestly.
Yeah. I tell people all the time, it's like, man, you any job in metal you have to do because you love it. Because it's like, if I just wanted to get into the business side of things on the music industry, like purely from the interest of making money,
Yeah.
I wouldn't have chosen death metal. Like,
No, not. You know how long it's taken me
Yeah.
to like make a decent income off of this, you know?
Yeah,
And it's
man.
like, it's still not, even when doing my job, it's not, I don't look at when I pick up a band, I don't look at like money signs.
Yeah.
You know, some bands I'm like, oh, this band's gonna make me money, but at the same time, it's like I really love their music. It's like it's more than just that.
Yeah.
Like, I have some very small bands that, you know, that I'm trying to help build and whatnot, and it doesn't matter about the money.
Yeah.
You know, when I pick up a band, I have to like 100% love the band's music, or I just can't be their agent, because
Yeah.
I'm not going to give them that 100% that they need
Mhm.
and deserve, you know? So you got to definitely, I think all bands need to find the right person
Yeah.
that actually loves their music.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I feel like
What
for the
they-
whole team, honestly, man, it's like
For the whole team,
you
dude.
gotta have that holy trinity I was talking about. Everybody
Mhm.
involved has to be like this band is sick kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like that.
You
that
have
element
to be a
has
fan of the
there.
band.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have to be a fan of the band.
Yeah.
Then what else are you doing? Like, I've picked up bands in the past, like managers like, yo, just book this, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, yeah, all right. And it never turns out good, because
Yeah.
I'm never like, I'm not sold on, or not like sold on it. I shouldn't say that word, but I'm not like into it. It's not my thing.
Yeah.
And it just, then it never works out. And then, like, you know, the band's upset about things, and I'm like, why'd I do that? You know, why'd I pick them up? You know, why'd I get, why'd I let them, this manager or whatever pressure me into picking this band up?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
sometimes they will try to pressure you. I'm like, I don't want to. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Don't be mad at me. I'll try to put them on a tour, but
Yeah,
maybe their
totally.
newer material later on will surprise me,
Yeah,
which
absolutely,
has happened.
absolutely. So, well, speaking of booking shows and being a booking agent and all that kind of stuff, you like my segues? You like how I pretend
Oh, I
like I'm
do.
leading a conversation when I'm reading from a question sheet? So I'm like, speaking of, so we've talked a lot about booking. We've talked a lot about being a booking agent, back end kind of stuff. And someone even asked, I think it was Mike Neely asked, um,
Yeah.
you know, what advice would you give someone who wants to start
Oh,
getting into booking and doing shows and all that kind of stuff?
oh man. What advice? I think if you're not familiar with the business side of things of being a promoter or a booking agent or a manager, I think you're the best, the smartest thing for you to do is try to get a internship under somebody
Mm-hmm.
or a job at a venue, or it depends what you want to do. Say you want to be a booking agent. I want to book tours, right? I want to be on that side of the business. Try to get an internship at a booking agency. If you're able to. I mean, it's weird because when people ask like, how do you get into doing this? It was just like, I was in bands when I was younger in like 2004, 2005, 2006. And I just, for some reason was like the guy in the band that booked everything for the most part.
Yeah.
And I started making connections that way. And I learned everything from being in a band and playing these venues, meeting the staff and kind of asking questions, and learning things that way. And then I just stopped being in a band. And I was like, I'm going to book tours. But back then, I think it was easier to become an agent or even a manager than it is now.
Yeah.
More so an agent, because even then, like, dude, I booked tours through MySpace like crazy.
Oh, yeah.
So that was a thing. It was a big thing. But the best case, the best way to do it is try to get like an internship or an assistant job
Yeah.
under somebody and like show them that you're, serious. But, even when it comes to, I've had people hit me up, be like, can I be your assistant? And there is somebody, actually one of my mods from Twitch, that mods my Twitch channel and my Discord and whatnot. This dude, Josh, he's really fucking cool. He's very good taste in music and he's in the YouTube right now. So he's probably blushing because I'm saying this about him, but it's true, Josh. But I mentioned to him like, like, when things start picking up, I will start showing you like how to do this shit. Like if you're real serious and get you into doing some of my paperwork that I don't want to do, like all the contracts and itineraries. Oh, yeah. I'll show you how to do it. Then you're going to have to do it. Mm-hmm. And I'll pay you like, so that's another way. Like I met Josh through Twitch because he's a cool dude. And then became over time, he supported what I was doing. And I was like, oh, I made you a mod. And, and he knows like Vincent from Acacia Strain and stuff. And he's a mod in his channel. He's just a good dude. So I was like, all right, well, maybe, when things start swinging back, I think I'm going to need an assistant. Yeah. So it's like, there you go.
Yeah.
But it's weird industry, man, to get into.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's, I wouldn't say it's as insular as like some other entertainment industries, like acting, or stuff like that, where it's like, you like have to know somebody. Yeah. But it's definitely like any other, section of the entertainment industry where it's like, it's just tough to break into, you know what I mean? Like it's tough to get your foot in the door. It really
is, man.
So
I've seen people get their foot in the door just by, becoming friends with somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And then even with a band, and the band's like, yo, this dude's really cool. He always, he works at this venue or comes to shows, he's talking about, he's a pretty chill dude. He really wants to get involved. And it's like, then he becomes like an intern, then he becomes an assistant, then he becomes an agent. Like it's just weird how you get into this shit.
Yeah. I'd say that it takes persistent networking is the kind of
for
thing.
Sure.
Persistent networking, a lot, which kind of brings me to my next question is that, if you go to your Instagram page and you go to your link tree, there's like a metric shit ton of links on there. Because social media is important to this kind of job. How important would you say, it is, or I guess, how would you explain how social media is utilized, outside of like the pretty solid example that you just gave,
Mm.
for doing stuff like booking and networking and all that kind of stuff?
I mean, for me at least.
Yeah.
Well, I guess like it doesn't matter too much. Like if you're just if I didn't have like I don't know, if I didn't have like a podcast, I wouldn't push my social media that much,
Yeah.
or try to grow it. But like I'm trying to grow my podcast, so like I'm trying to like grow my social media and get people over to the podcast, obviously. But it doesn't matter too much. A lot of the times I'm helping bands with their social media and helping them do it better.
Yeah.
But I do like, I like social media. I mean, I'm not like one that I'm not like always posting on it, but I like, when I'm at my band's show, bands that I work with and I'm at their show, I'm always like, I like posting stuff about them, posting the live videos and stuff because I want to, show them that I love the band, but also like, it's a cool thing to do. But, yeah, I mean, it's not like too important. I don't think,
Yeah.
if I didn't have social media, it wouldn't matter.
Right.
As an agent, really.
Right.
Some days I'm like, I wish I didn't have social media.
Yeah.
Everyone stop messaging me.
One of my guitar players has started taking like little like 2-week social media breaks here and there, and I'm just like, man, I envy you.
Yeah,
I could, because social media is super important to my other job, my game company type of thing.
Yeah,
it's
I
like
know.
I have to constantly be on this thing, just pushing brands and doing all that kind of stuff. And man, if I had a 2-week break from socials, I feel like I would emerge like with superpowers
seriously.
or some shit.
Yeah.
Like I would just be like, oh my god.
Yeah. Seriously though.
So a couple more quick questions before I let you go.
No, you're good, man.
We've been hanging out for almost an hour here. Don't want to eat up your whole day, but
That's all right.
you mentioned some stuff about your personal social media. I obviously follow you, across platforms, and let's talk about Rosie real quick.
Yes.
Let's talk about Rosie. So Rosie is Dan's corgi.
Yes.
She is a national treasure. Not surprised, Nicolas Cage is not just constantly breaking down your door trying to find her because she is such a national treasure.
She's great. She's somewhere. I don't know where she is.
So she has like merch and all this kind of stuff. So she has merch. My bass player, Boo Boo Money, in Allegiant also has a corgi named Zeke, named after
Zeke,
the football player Ezekiel Elliott.
Yeah, that's fucking
wife,
awesome.
His wife is a big Ohio State fan. I want to say is where I'm not a big college ball guy. I love football, but never got super into college ball. But I'm pretty sure that
that's where it came from.
I think that's where he came from, and she's a big Ohio State person. But sorry, Beth, if you're watching this, if I got that wrong, it's my mistake. And then Alan from Black Dahlia also has an Instagram for his corgi.
I didn't even know that. Yeah.
Why are corgis the best dogs, and where can you go buy Rosie the corgi merch?
I think they're just the best dogs because they're so cute. I mean, they're short, right? They got these like weird bodies and they're big ass ears, and they're cute fucking dogs. They're honestly really good dogs. Like Rosie, yeah. I mean, Rosie, come here. Where is she? I think my girlfriend's like taking a nap right now from school. Yeah. I don't think she's gonna come in here. My dog is so weird when I'm like in here. Yeah. If I'm like doing something like this, she like doesn't come in here at all. But anyway, if you go to my socials, you'll see her. But so I made merch for her, and it's 2 different shirts. Actually, I have like the merch here, so I send it out myself. I haven't sold any in a little bit, so if you guys want to buy some of it, you should, and you can go do that at rosiethecorgi.bigcartel.com.
Yes.
They're really cool shirts. And one of the Rosie shirts, if there's any Slayer fans in here, which I'm sure there is, I ripped off their logo. Yeah. And it says Rosie in the Slayer font. Sorry, Slayer.
That is amazing.
I'm not taking it down.
No.
You don't need the few dollars.
They're coming after you. You with lawyers in tow. Yeah.
Take that down. Oh yeah, the $100 I made.
Yeah, right. So she is okay. So is she a purebred corgi?
So
because she's black and white, and I've never seen a black and white corgi before.
So I adopted her in 2014. She was like 3 or 4 years old. She was found as a stray. I adopted her from this shelter in Arlington, Texas, and my friend Jesse found her. So my friend Jesse has a corgi, and he knew I wanted one, and he's like, you know, one day he hit me up. I remember it was like a Sunday, and he's like, dude, the shelter by my house just got this corgi. Go get her. And I did on Monday.
Yes.
And they told me, because I was like, is she like mixed with like a husky or like a border collie?
Mm-hmm.
And the vet was like, no, she's full bred. I'm like, are you sure?
Yeah.
He's like, from what I can tell, yes. I'm like, okay. But a lot of people I run into that like meet her for the first time, they're like, is she like has a husky in her or like a border collie? I'm like, I don't know. Maybe because she's actually like a little bit longer than normal corgis, and she's like built like she has a lot of muscle. It's weird. People are like, is she like kind of she's like 45 pounds, dude.
Oh my god.
46 pounds. But when I bring her, you know, she gets her yearly checkup, and she just had hers like a few months ago. And the vet was like, yeah, she's in good shape. You know, you could see her hips. Like when you look over her core, you see the hips, the outline.
Yeah.
So she's like, she's not overweight. She's just, you know, he's like, you know, feeling around her, make sure she doesn't have like weird bumps or anything like that. She's like, he was just like, she's built, man.
Like,
yeah, she is.
Stacked
She's
corgi.
built, man. She works out.
So
it's crazy.
I just got my dog via very similar channels. His name's Kupo, and that's kind of my consensus with him as well. As people are like, what is he? Is he like, you know, is he an Australian Shepherd? Is he a Border Collie? Like, is he like part Chihuahua? Like, what's going on here? Because he's little. He's a little guy. He's only going to be like 25, 30 pounds. He's like 6 months old right now. He's like 22 pounds.
Yeah.
And also black and white. But like total mystery, and I was thinking about getting one of those doggy DNA tests just to like know, so I can give people an answer, because I'm getting tired of doing the whole like, yeah, you know, his mom was like a pregnant stray down in Tijuana, and like that's like she got picked up off the streets while she was pregnant, so like who the fuck knows? Like it's a total mystery. Knows? Like
yeah, it's probably very mixed.
Yes, very mixed. He is absolute mutt for sure.
That's great.
Well, before I let you go, two things. Any new bands that you think people really need to check out, and then anything that you're working on that you want to mention and advertise.
Thank you, Metal Blade Records.
Yeah, that's right.
Some bands that are I like a lot right now. I found that I actually had a call with them before this. They're from the UK. I'm probably gonna pronounce their name wrong, but it's Pupil Slicer.
Oh, dude, Pupil Slicer is so
I'm
good.
pronouncing it. They're on Prosthetic. Record rips. If you love that mid 2000s metalcore, like Vane, and you know Vane brought it back, and stuff like Wrist Meet Razor and all that stuff, you will love them. Justice for the Damned.
Oh, I haven't heard that one.
Dude, great band from Australia. Exanimate is another great band from Seattle. That's like in the vein of Misery Signals and Counterparts. Who else? Mouth for War, Signs of the Swarm,
Love
Rivers
those Signs, boys.
of Nile.
Yes.
Get ready for that record.
Yeah, that record is. I've heard a lot of good things about it. That is gonna absolutely crush.
And Wolf King. Can't
dude,
forget
Wolf
about
King
Wolf
is
King.
so sick. I played a show with them with Continuum, my other band. A couple years back up in San Jose, I want to say.
Yeah.
And it was sick. They were really, really good.
Really great band. New record is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And I can't wait for your guys' new record.
Thanks, man. Yeah, we're going into the studio in 2 days. 2 days.
2 days?
Well, 2 days I'm flying out, and then the following Monday we start drums and doing all the stuff, man.
Hell yeah.
I'm getting that new. I'm pretty excited about it.
Yeah, your guys' last record I absolutely loved.
Thanks, man. Thanks. I think this one is
I loved it.
This one is
the best ever.
I'm trying to figure out a way to say this without being like, you know, we've really grown a lot over the past year, because that always means bad. Every time a band is like, oh, we've really matured, we've really grown, we've come into ourselves, our sound a little bit. It's like, oh, so you mean this record's gonna suck? All right, cool. Now I know.
All right, cool, man.
No, but
you feel good about it, right?
It is.
Obviously.
It is. I do feel good about it. I think that it's definitely bringing some things to the table that, you know, we've experimented with on past records, but never really like dove headfirst into.
Yeah,
And I think that
that's great.
it's finally time to start hitting those.
I feel a lot of bands are like they're changing it up a little bit, or just everyone's getting better.
Yeah,
I feel like,
yeah,
you know, like everyone is. There's so many. Like even like Rivers and Nile. I'm like,
mm-hmm.
how are they gonna top Where Owls Know My Name? Oh, they topped it.
Yeah, right.
Like, how did you do this? You know, it's crazy, man.
Yeah,
Like,
I think that the growth. I think that if this last year has provided anything for musicians and people making music and new albums and all that kind of stuff, is that the growth is just like so evident.
It really is, man. There's
yeah.
a lot. There's gonna be a lot of good music coming out this year and next year.
Oh yeah,
big time.
Well, Dan,
But
thank you so much, man. Thank you for hanging out with us. I really appreciate it. For those of you watching via the Metal Blade socials and all that kind of stuff, Dan, if you're just tuning in, amazing booking agent, does tons of stuff for the industry for bands all over the planet. Also hosts a show very similar to this, with a little bit of a different vibe to it. But if you are enjoying this, if you've enjoyed this chat with Dan so far, if you just think that he's a fucking cool guy,
I'm a cool guy.
He's super neato.
He's super cool.
Just go ahead and follow him at the socials listed below. We have Instagram, Twitter, and Twitch, all at DeFonce.
Yes.
And if you're watching from Dan's properties and you are enjoying what you see, make sure to follow Metal Blade Records.
Yeah, you better follow Metal Blade Records.
Pretty much anywhere you can.
Oh yeah, and also whoever gave 3 thumbs down on this YouTube channel, what the hell, man? No,
it's not cool, bro. It's not cool. Anyway,
I'm kidding. But
Dan, thanks again for joining us, man. Absolutely,
yeah, man.
It was a pleasure having you. And hit me up, and we'll anytime
we'll
talk some music. Do that show you have going on Saturdays.
Yeah, we'll do it after you guys are done recording.
Hell yeah,
it'd be rad, man.
All right, everybody. Thank you again for watching. I'm Riley McShane, singer for Legion, host of the Metal Blade Live series, and we will catch you